What's up, meatbags? I'm the often imitated, never duplicated TonyTGD coming at you with the first video in the March of the First Order series. We're going to be talking about The Force Awakens. Now, there's going to be more than just a review. I'm going to go in depth, give you an analysis, my thoughts on the movie, my thoughts on where I think it's going. But before we get into all that, I'm going to go ahead and warn you there will be spoilers. If you have not watched the movie, I will spoil it. I think it's been about 6 years, so the statute of limitations on spoilers is long past. Also, I'm probably going to be swearing a lot, so if you don't want to hear swear words, cussing, I suggest you go find a family-friendly video to watch. And lastly, I apologize for the length of this video. I haven't recorded it. I have no idea how long I'm going to be talking, but I have a feeling that it's going to go quite a bit. Now, this isn't going to be like your typical YouTube review where they go through scene by scene and make crack funny jokes and have all kind of elaborate pranks and props and all kind of set pieces. Now, I'm just going to be talking while the trailer for the movie plays. So, if that's not your cup of tea, once again, just go ahead and click off the video because this ain't going to be for you. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and put the trailer up. We're going to talk about the movie. Now, the general synopsis on the movie is you got the First Order. They're the remnants of the Galactic Empire. They're spreading chaos and fear and anger and hate and all that shit across the galaxy. You got the New Republic, who's trying to fill the vacuum left by the defeat of the Empire. And you got the Resistance, who is kind of like the army for the New Republic, but not really. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of weird. They are made up of, the remnants of the rebellion. Now, Luke Skywalker, he went and he started training a new Jedi Order, but some shit happened. Some shit went down. Things went sideways. Luke got the fuck out of Dodge. No one knows where he's at. Everybody's looking for him. Now, people suspect that Luke is at the original Jedi Temple, but there's no concrete evidence. But they do have a map to Luke that everybody's looking for, which I'm pretty sure they meant like a map to the first Jedi Temple, and then presumably Luke will be there. So everybody's looking for this map. The Resistance, they send Poe Dameron, their ace pilot. They send him to Jakku to grab a piece of this map. Unfortunately for him, First Order shows up. Shit goes down. Everything goes sideways. He gives the map to BB-8. He gets captured by Kylo Ren in the First Order. BB-8 gets the fuck out of Dodge, runs into Rey. They get like a little friendship going. Meanwhile, one of the stormtroopers decides, fuck, this shit's terrible. I don't want to be a stormtrooper no more. So he grabs Poe. They get the fuck out of the little base. Not even sure which base it was. I think it's Starkiller base they were on, but it's not really clear what base they take them to. Or maybe I missed it. Who knows? But either way, the newly christened Finn, the ex-stormtrooper, and Poe, they get the fuck out of there on a TIE fighter. They crash into the Jakku desert. Poe's missing. Finn takes his jacket. TIE fighter explodes. Finn, he's wandering around the desert, ends up in town, runs into Rey. BB-8 recognizes the jacket he's wearing. There's a little confusion. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time to figure things out because, the First Order's right there. They start bombing the shit out of people. Rey, BB-8, Finn, they jump on the Millennium Falcon because, it just happened to be sitting there in the junkyard. They jump on it, blow up a few TIE fighters, go into space, and they're headed off to the Resistance base. They're going to give the map to General Leia. But before they can get there, they get captured. Now, they think it's the First Order that captured them, so they go into hiding. Then we get a nice little reveal that, surprise, surprise, they were actually captured by Han Solo and Chewbacca. Now, before we can get, more backstory, what's going on, why is Han Solo out there capturing people in his big old freighter? Two of the gangs, smugglers, thieves, I don't know what the fuck they want to call them, but these two groups of guys show up, say that Han Solo owes them money. They get into a little argument. Rey accidentally lets free some space creatures that Han was transporting. Shit goes down. Han, Finn, Chewbacca, BB-8, they get out of there on the Millennium Falcon. Han Solo says, I'm going to take you to this planet where I got some people. They're going to help us out. When they get there, it's like a tavern. Fucking all kind of aliens and shit. Finn's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here. I can't do it. I didn't sign up for this shit. So he decides he's going to get the fuck out. He tells Rey, hey, I'm not even a fucking resistance fighter like I told you. Surprise, surprise. I used to be a stormtrooper and I didn't sign up for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Why don't you come with me? Rey declines his invitation the same way she declined Han Solo's invitation to join his crew. She hears a voice in her head, goes down into the basement, finds Luke Skywalker's old lightsaber, gets a little force vision. The proprietor of the tavern tells her that she's been holding on to this lightsaber for some reason. It's calling to her that maybe she should take it. Of course, Rey turns it down. She says she don't want nothing to do with this shit. She's got to get back to Jakku. She got to wait for some people. Presumably, it's her parents she's waiting for because they abandoned her, left her, whatever you want to call it. She just they took off, got the fuck out of there. I know I'm saying that a lot, but they left her in the desert to fend for herself as a child. But she's clinging on to that hope that they're gonna come back one day. So she declines taking Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Of course, before Finn can get out of there, find out that Starkiller Base is this ginormous, fucking planet-sized mobile base that shoots a fucking laser beam, blows up like 4 or 5 planets. They can see it from where they're at. They can see these planets exploding in space. Finn realizes what happened. He's like, hey, I used to work on this base. I got the inside info. Let's go talk to General Leia. I'll tell her what's going on. Once again, First Order's right there because, they were looking for BB-8. They got the word that he was on the planet. They show up, kidnap Rey. So now Finn, Poe, all of them, they're all, they meet up back at the base. Finn's determined to go back. He's got to go rescue Rey. Leia and them are like, nah, that's too dangerous. We got some other shit to do. He's like, nah, I got to do this. Between him and Han Solo, they convince General Leia that they could get the shields down on Starkiller Base. This will allow the Resistance to show up with some ships, blow some shit up. The base explodes. The deal. Turns out they're all full of shit. They didn't know what they were doing. They end up capturing Captain Phasma, convince her to throw the shields down. They allow the X-Wings to go in there, start shooting some shit up. Surprise, surprise, the base is reinforced. They can't blow it up with the X-Wings. So Han Solo gets a bright idea. We'll blow that shit up from the inside. He gets confronted by Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is his son. He tries to convince him to come back to the light side. I know you killed a bunch of people, Kylo, but just water under the bridge. Join us back here at the Resistance. Kylo declines that offer by stabbing him in the chest with his lightsaber. Han Solo dies. Chewbacca freaks the fuck out, shoots Kylo Ren, blows up the base. Even with Rey and Finn still inside, blows up the base. He gets out of there. We get a nice little lightsaber duel between Finn and Kylo Ren. Finn gets defeated. Kylo's still mad. Rey shows up. She duels with Kylo. She gets her ass whooped a little bit. She ends up figuring out, what she needs to do. She takes the fight to Kylo. She gets the upper hand. We get a nice little explosion. Land separates. We got a big old chasm between Kylo and Rey. Neither one get to finish off the other. Chewbacca shows up, gets Finn and Rey out of there. We get back to the Resistance base. They got the map. They know where the fuck Luke's at. We end up the movie with Rey trying to give Luke Skywalker his lightsaber back. And that's how the movie ends. That's basically the basic plot of the movie. There's some finer details in there that I skipped over, or really didn't hit on, but we'll probably talk about them later. That, like I said, that's just the gist of it. Now, you're probably wondering, did I like the movie? Was it good? Well, I'm watching this movie years after all the controversy, years after the culture war. I'm not in there where, I'm getting the marketing. I'm not getting people in my ear telling me to like it or not like it. And I'll tell you what, out of 10, I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It was actually a really good movie. I watched the entire thing, wasn't bored. I didn't need my phone. I didn't need to get distracted by anything. I didn't fall asleep. I was very interested on where it was going, some of the little moments in the movie. Now, the reason that it's getting a 7.5 out of 10 is because the movie does have its faults. There are, I won't call them nitpicks, but more like personal choices, personal things that I didn't like about the movie. First and foremost, the movie has no chill. I mean, it's just action, 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 action. You got moments like you got Finn. He betrays the stormtroopers, betrays the First Order. You would think he'd get a moment to, sit, contemplate his choices, what's going on, what brought him to this point. Nah, we ain't got time for that. Explosions, move over to the next set piece. Same thing with Han Solo. Han Solo gets killed. You would think we'd get a slow moment, a moment to, you know, contemplate this. Maybe we get a funeral, maybe we get a scene of people reminiscing about Han Solo. Not this movie. We just got to go to the next scene. Keep going. Go, go, go. And that's really the problem. I mean, a movie should have peaks and valleys. It should have highs and lows, action, and then some slow moments to kind of think about what you just saw, think about the things, give the characters time, room to breathe, room to develop. And this movie doesn't really do that. This movie seems like it's got a checklist of things it wants to do, things it wants to cram in there, and it's going to get them in there. And that's probably because, the director felt, J.J. Abrams, he knew he was only getting one. He wasn't getting a whole trilogy. So he crammed in everything he wanted into a trilogy, into this one movie. And you can really tell because we get no build up to Kylo Ren's identity. It's just kind of, hey, Kylo Ren is Han's son. That's it. Just, it's just like a throwaway line. There's no big reveal, When Vader was revealed to be Luke's father, that was a big moment. People quote the line even though they quote it wrong most of the time. Everybody's always talked about it. It's a huge moment in cinema. Kylo Ren's reveal, nothing. It's just a nothing moment. Like I said, Finn, he betrays the First Order. You would think that'd be a big moment, a big dramatic scene. Give John Boyega some room to breathe, to flex his acting muscle. We don't get it. I mean, we got to move on to the next set piece. We got to keep going. And that's really like my major complaint with the movie. So that's why I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. I mean, there's no SJW stuff in it. It's not all anti-man or anti-this or whatever. It's just a nice little action movie. Star Wars. It does have some fan service for the older fans. It has things for the newer fans. Excuse me. A little bit tired. Now, if we can talk about characters, get a little in depth, if you will. First off, there was a lot of things said about Rey after this movie was released. People were talking about that she's a Mary Sue, that she just does things, that there's no character development. And I want to say that that's probably wrong. Because, I watched the movie, I seen it. There was some character development. There was lots of indications of why she was doing the things she was doing and why she was able to do certain things. And I think, back to the movie as a whole, one of the problems was that the movie had a lot of subtle things that needed to be loud and a lot of loud things that needed to be subtle. And Rey's abilities, Rey's, her knowledge, that was just hinted at, People were like, how does Rey know how to fly the Millennium Falcon, for example? Well, if you watch the movie, she mentions that she flew the ships before. All the ships in the junkyard, she flew them before. She just never went into space. She also, in a conversation with Han Solo, mentions the different uh, things that they added to the Millennium Falcon. You know, the different modifications they made. Now that indicates to me that, you know, she was part of the crew that modified the Millennium Falcon. So they would have had to modify it, probably test it out, flew it around a little. So she's familiar with the ship. She's familiar with, you know, the things on the ship, how they work. When her and Finn first jump on it, she directs them exactly to where the guns are because she knows. Because she's been on the ship before. She knows her way around the ship. And so when people were saying that she was just fluid with no experience, it's incorrect. She had plenty of experience. They tell you in the movie, but they tell you in very subtle ways, and that I think is the problem. That people might have missed it, and all the action going on, and all the yelling and explosions. People probably missed her mentioning flying the ship. They probably missed the fact that, you know what, if she modified the ship, if she knows about these modifications, she probably worked on the ship. The same thing when it goes with her abilities to use the Force. If you watch the movie, they kind of hint that Kylo Ren, he's being pulled between the dark side and the light side. So when he does his little mind meld with Rey, to me, mind you, I mean, it's not explicit in the movie, but it seems like perhaps his Ben Solo, rather his Ben Solo side reached out to Rey and kind of told her, hey, these are the things that you can do. You can do these things, like, you know, the Jedi mind trick. And that's where I believe that, you know, she picked that up. She picked it up off of his mind when they had the little mind meld, when he felt that she had the Force inside of him. Later on in the movie, he offers to train her to show her the ways of the Force. And like I said, he knows that she's using it. He knows that she now has abilities. The only way that he would know that she's unlocked these abilities, that she's unlocked her understanding of the Force, is if he was the one who did it for her. If he was the one that, you know, when he touched her mind, that perhaps he said, hey, let me unlock the little door that's holding you back, that's keeping you from using the Force. Now, personally, I think that they could have did it a little better. Perhaps when they showed Rey scavenging for pieces, they might have showed her like reaching for a part or something, and then, you know, she's not looking, but then the part's slowly moving towards her, like she's using the Force subconsciously. Something like that would have indicated to me, to the audience, that she can use the Force, she's just not aware of it. So that way later on, when she does use the Force, it wouldn't be such a like, oh, what the fuck, how's she using the Force? This is stupid. Same thing goes with when she's fighting him with the sword, with the lightsaber. When they're dueling, now a lot of people were like, this is dumb. How did she beat him? She has no training. He's been trained. Well, first off, it seems to be that, you know, Kylo Ren was trained by Luke. Luke uses a light force style of saber combat, whereas if you watch the movie, if you actually pay attention, after Rey closes her eyes, becomes one with the Force, thinks about it, you know, she smiles and she just fucking goes savage. She's just unleashing this barrage of strikes, one after the other. And to me, the way they filmed it, the way they showed it, it seems like she was using like a dark side style, something that Kylo Ren wouldn't have been used to fighting against because, like I said, he trained with Luke. Luke doesn't use that style. There's no other Jedi around. There's no one else that would be using that style. He's not used to that raw, savage aggression. You know, she's just swinging wildly, and he doesn't have an offense for that because he was just taken aback. It was just like, oh shit, what the hell is she doing? I mean, that's the way I took it. And it almost seemed like they were hinting that perhaps she might have some kind of dark side in her, or she might flip to the dark side and Kylo might flip to the light side. I mean, it seemed like J.J. Abrams was setting up a lot of things. I don't know if they're going to pay off. I don't know if the other directors and screenwriters, you know, carry on his vision. Hopefully they do, because there was a lot of good little subtle things in there, a lot of little moments that I was like, this could lead to something interesting. Now, another major character is Finn. Now, I really like John Boyega in this movie. He did a fantastic job. The chemistry he had with Daisy Ridley, where he's really infatuated with her. He tells her that, he says that she saw him differently than anybody else, because he's been surrounded by stormtroopers that have been indoctrinated since, childhood. These are people that have been pretty much brainwashed, almost in a cult, if you will. But somehow he snapped out of it, and Ray looks at him like a normal person, like just somebody that you could talk to, and he feels good about that. So he feels like a connection to her. He feels like she's someone special, that he needs to protect her, that he needs to do you know the best he can for her. And I really like that. I really like the way John Boyega he made Finn not so much a simp, but more like a regular person. Now, what I didn't like about his character was they didn't really explain why he betrayed the stormtroopers, the First Order. I mean, he shows up on the planet with his battalion of stormtroopers. They start blasting people. One of his guys dies. The guy, dies in front of him, but we don't know, is this his best friend? Is this his roommate? The guy he has beers with after work? We don't get an indication. He doesn't mention it like, hey, I saw my best friend die in front of me, and that's why I'm, dumping the First Order and joining the Resistance. It's just like, hey, some guy died in front of me. Shit, this is crazy. I don't want to be a stormtrooper no more. I'm fucking out of here. They did indicate in the movie that, he's not the only one who's ever had problems, whose brainwashing wore off and needed re-education. So that was good there. But when, even when he shows up in the Resistance base, Leia and them, they're not like, oh shit, this guy used to be a stormtrooper. Like, they're just used to it. It seems like it's a normal thing that stormtroopers, break conditioning. They decide to jump ship. Now, what was weird is we're basically told that these are like kid soldiers that are brainwashed, like I said, cult members. They're pretty much innocent bystanders, and they have no problem just shooting the fuck out of them. I mean, the Resistance, Finn shooting guys that he used to, he used to party with, guys he used to work with, guys he used to train with. He's just shooting the fuck out of them. It seems like they put it in there like to make you think that perhaps, the stormtroopers might not be bad. They might just be brainwashed cult members, innocent bystanders caught up in this whole mess. But, I mean, after they tell you, they don't really focus on it. There's no real thought put in. It's just like, yeah, these guys ain't really that bad, but we're still going to shoot the fuck out of them. So that was a little weird, and that was a little off-putting. But other than that, like I said, John Boyega did a good job. When he picks up the lightsaber and he's fighting, that was a fucking badass moment. I really dig it. He stood up to Kylo Ren. He didn't win, but he got his licks in. So, no problems with Finn. They left him. He was in kind of like a coma, kind of reminiscent of when Han Solo was in the carbonite. So, you got that going. And I really dig. I want to see where they're going to take this character. He seems to have a lot of potential, almost like an everyday man that got wrapped up in this whole affair, and now he's just doing the best he can. You don't want to be there, but he's there, and he's going to fucking do what he can do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Finn's character. Now, Poe, man, they didn't really give this guy any fucking screen time. We know he's a fucking super fucking pilot. He's the best pilot in the Resistance. And it was kind of weird that you would send the best pilot to go recover this map. You would think you'd send like the best spy or the best secret agent or the best, undercover guy or some shit, someone with some kind of specialized training, but, the best pilot, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So they send the best pilot to go get the map. And really, he doesn't do much. He's presumed dead for a lot of the movie. He just shows back up. It's like, hey, I'm not dead. Look, I'm still here. And then he fucks off, and you don't really hear from him. I mean, I wish he had a little more screen time. He had a little more time to flesh out what he can do. Maybe, see him in a couple more dogfights. Something. I mean, the guy deserves something. He really didn't do much. BB-8 is his droid, but, I mean, BB-8 gets all the screen time. BB-8 gets all the glory. And Poe's just, like I said, he's just some dude that exists, that's there. It's a really good pilot, but we don't need to fucking put him on the screen that much. Kylo Ren, big disappointment. Big disappointment. I did not like the way they handled the reveal that he was Ben Solo. Like I said, it was kind of a throwaway line. I think they should have, played up the angle that, Han and Leia didn't realize that Kylo Ren was actually their son. Perhaps Luke lied to them, told them that Kylo Ren came into the temple, killed all the Jedi, and then, Han's searching the galaxy trying to get revenge. He meets him, confronts him. Oh shit, it's my son. Kylo Ren kills him. Boom, that would have been good. I would have enjoyed that. But just kind of saying, hey, yeah, it's fucking Han Solo's son, whatever. No big deal. That was kind of dumb. When he takes his helmet off, there's no big reveal. There's no big I am your father moment. He kills Han, but like I said, they don't give him a chance to contemplate it. We don't get no moments with Kylo Ren where he's like, oh shit, did I actually kill my dad? I can't believe I did that. It's just action, action, action. I would have preferred, again, if they would have just called him Ben. And then after he killed Han Solo, then perhaps then he became Kylo Ren. Like, you showed that he finally got rid of the last part of his humanity, the last part of his Jedi-ness, the light side, or whatever you want to call it. But they didn't do that. He's just Kylo Ren through the whole movie. I'm not sure exactly what his rank is. We have General Hux, who seems to be the same rank as him, but they're both kind of ordering each other around. I mean, that was kind of weird. We know that his training isn't complete, but we're not sure exactly what isn't complete. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of questions about Kylo Ren. And, Vader was mysterious, but he was mysterious in a way that, you didn't ask those questions. You didn't need to have questions. He was just this big, hulking, thing that just was relentless, and it would just, you didn't want to fuck with Vader. Kylo Ren, it was like, it's just this whiny little dork kid. It's very off-putting. So I think, Poe should have got more screen time. Kylo Ren, probably less screen time. We didn't really need character development. He's just supposed to be the big bad under a mask. Now, General Hux, like I said, I liked him. Very cocky, very arrogant. He's standing up to, this evil Jedi. He don't give a fuck. He's in his face. I like that. I like the fact that he's like, I don't give a fuck. You think you scare me? You think that I give a shit that you got a lightsaber? Fuck you. So I like that. I like the little cocky attitude he had. Like I said, though, I don't know if he's like the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy, number 3 guy. What is the structure of the fucking army for the First Order? I mean, that was one of the problems with the original Star Wars. You had Darth Vader, but then you had all these generals. It's like, who the fuck's in charge? I mean, other than the Emperor, and in this one, Supreme Leader Snoke, everyone else just seems like they're just ordering each other around. So that was kind of weird. Speaking of Snoke, once again, he's mysterious. He's basically Palpatine. We don't know a lot about him. We know he knows some kind of, he knows about the Jedi. He knows about the Sith. Perhaps he has, force powers. Maybe he doesn't. We don't really get a lot about him. We just know he's in charge. We know people are scared of him. So it was kind of good. I mean, it's one of those things that you don't really want to give too much away for a character like Snoke. You want to leave him mysterious. You want to leave people asking questions. He's the guy you want people asking questions about, because that's going to keep you coming back for more. Han and Leia, nice fan service. Didn't really like what they did with Han's character. His son becomes evil, joins the dark side, and instead of chasing him around the galaxy and trying to get him to come back to the light side, he just like, fuck it, I'm going to become a smuggler again. It was kind of cheap. It just seemed like they wanted Han Solo to not be domesticated. They wanted Han Solo to be Han Solo, so they just came up with this excuse for him to be back as a smuggler. Didn't really like it. Leia, that was a natural progression for her. She's no longer a princess. Her planet is blown the fuck up. She's in charge. She's calling the shots. Like I said, it's a natural progression. I didn't like, again, the way they treated Kylo Ren is just kind of like, yeah, my son's evil. What are you going to do? It's kind of weird. It's like, if your son is the evil big bad of the universe, you might want to get off your ass and go, be a parent, take off your belt and fucking whip his ass. Do something. Not just like, shit happens. Captain Phasma was probably the worst character in the whole movie. She's got this badass armor, stands out from all the other stormtroopers. She gets a gun put in her face and she's fucking, there you go, I'm lowering the shields, fuck it. She doesn't stand up to nobody. Doesn't do anything badass. Just seemed like she was another toy. Like, they were like, you know what, we need an extra action figure. Let's put a stormtrooper in some nice bright shiny armor and, hey, we got one more action figure. Kids will like it. And that's really, that's all I really got to say about the movie. Like I said, 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. I liked it. I'm looking forward to the next movie in the trilogy. I'm looking forward to watching Rogue One. I hear that's pretty good. If you made it this far, thank you for hearing me ramble. Thank you for listening to me just discuss Star Wars, and you know how we do it on this channel. Love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.